Growing up in a small immediate family, but a larger extended family, everyone except my dad's mom is Catholic. She was raised Presbyterian, but raised all 7 of her children Catholic. And so growing up, I thought, oh, we say Catholic, but everybody's Catholic. That's just how it is, because I didn't know any non-Catholics when I was in first grade. I mean, I did, I just didn't realize it at the time. But going to Mass together as a family, especially with my grandparents, had the biggest influence in my faith throughout my entire life. My grandmother at the time probably didn't realize it, but she was nursing a priestly vocation. Because I was kind of the odd child. I enjoyed going to Mass. I enjoyed listening to the homily. I liked getting to visit with Father Frank Uter, who was our childhood pastor at the time. And as a 5 or 6-year-old, I had no idea what a priest was. I didn't know what a priest did, what his role was. I just saw a man dressed in funny clothes, talking a lot about Jesus. But there was something about it that I could always see myself in his shoes. I could always see myself in that role doing what he did. It seemed interesting. In a way, it seemed fun, and I wanted to do that. And so the thought of the priesthood was always in the back of my mind until, later in life, I didn't push it out, but, you start to grow up and have your own plans, and the idea of the priesthood just kind of fell away. When I was in 9th grade, I had just started high school. I went to my first diocesan youth conference in Baton Rouge at the Tracy Center. And this was my first big youth event, big youth experience, apart from Abbey Youth Festival. Because then I started to learn, okay, this is what a diocese means, and this is all of the, these are all the youth groups from across the diocese, and we're doing this together and having this big event. And I loved it. And part of that event was you had little breakout sessions, and there were some that everybody could go to. There were some that were just for the girls, some just for the guys. So I'm looking through the program booklet, and I see one entitled Seminarians Unplugged. And I said, I don't know what either of those words mean. Again, not knowing what a seminarian was, what the seminary was. I go to this workshop, and they start to explain who they are, introduce themselves, and for the first time, seminary appealed to me. Because I figured, okay, to be a priest, you have to put on a big dark robe and walk around some dark hallways with a candlelight, being very silent, like you see in medieval monastic settings. But when I found out, oh, they get to wear regular clothes, and they're regular people, and have regular friends, and get to cut up and have a good time, but also be very holy and pray and very educated and have a lot of educational background. That's the first time that seminary really appealed to me. So little by little things happened. There was an off-campus course in high school that I was going to take to become a pharmacy technician, to kind of get the prerequisites to go up to ULM to become a pharmacist. But the way my credits worked out, that wasn't possible. The relationship I was in ended, and everything started to feel like I was going downhill. For a while, I was on top of the world. My grades were up. I have this wonderful relationship. My friends are all, I'm very close to them. All my plans are going exactly the way I want them to go. And then little by little, my path started to get narrow. Not that the Lord was, boxing me and saying, you're gonna be a priest and you're gonna like it. But I started to see, maybe I should be open to what God is asking me to do, instead of demanding that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Because ultimately, that's probably not gonna fulfill me. And so a little bit time went on, and I kept discerning and said, you know what, let me just give this priesthood thing another whirl and see where it takes me. And my grandmother and I, the same grandmother that I had always gone to Mass with, had this tradition of going to the Triduum together, all the services and liturgies down in St. James Parish. And it was there, I was 15 years old. That Holy Thursday evening, after Mass had ended, we went into the hall and had the fellowship meal and everything. And while my grandmother was visiting with her friends, I said, well, I'm going to just go back to the grotto at St. Michael, where they repose the Blessed Sacrament, and pray a little bit, because the priesthood at that point was weighing heavily on me. And so I went to adoration that evening, and just in the still silence, very, very silent and serene, I always remember that moment. And I looked at the tabernacle up on the altar, and I said, Lord, whatever it is that you want me to do, just tell me and I'll give it a shot. My plans have not worked out the way that I wanted them to, so Surely yours will work out the way you want them to, so give me some kind of hint. And it was in that still silence that I heard in my heart, no big, kind of like Elijah in the Old Testament, there was no flash of lightning, there was no big thunderclap or anything like that, but it was in the soft stillness that I heard, consider the priesthood. Just consider it. You know, it wasn't be a priest or you're going to be a priest. It's just consider it, be open. But we were in the large grotto, so I had heard that, and then I looked up at the image of Our Lady of Lourdes up in the grotto, and I said, Mother Mary, if you pray for me and get me through this, and I actually do become a priest one day, I will dedicate my priesthood to you. If you take me under your mantle, take me under your wing, and pray for me, protect me, and get me through 8 years of seminary, I'll give my priesthood to you. And she has, so I have a promise to uphold now, which after communion at my first Mass, I'll go present a rose to her over on the side and a prayer of thanksgiving. And because that's profound. I mean, in that moment, just on a whim, I was kind of shaken, terrified. And I look up at her and say, if you do this, I'll like help me out, and I'll give my priesthood to you. And she did.